Good morning, students. Let us continue with the leftover part of the exercise 2.2, that are word problems. There are two word problems, and both of them have same concept of solution. That is, both the word problems are similar and the same concept of solution is applied to both of them. The first one I will solve and second one I will left over for you as a homework for practice. So the first word problem says that a taxi driver will the taxi driver filled his car petrol tank with 40 liters of petrol on Monday. The next day, that is Tuesday, he filled the tank with 50 liters of petrol. If the petrol cost rupees 44 per liter, this is the rate of petrol, how much did he spend in all on petrol? Okay, so see students, the cost of petrol is same for any amount of petrol purchased on both the days. That is, therefore the cost of petrol will be applied on sum of amount of petrol purchased on both days. That is, arrangement of equation will be as follows, that cost of petrol per liter will be multiplied to petrol purchased on Monday plus petrol purchased on Tuesday. The cost of petrol purchased, the total cost of petrol purchased will be equal to the product of rate of petrol per liter and the sum of petrol purchased on both the days. And we will solve it like this. First of all, we'll write the facts, and the facts are: amount of petrol purchased on Monday 40 liters, amount of petrol purchased on Tuesday 50 liters, total petrol filled on 2 days is equal to 40 liter plus 50 liter, that is 90 liters. Therefore, as I told you, the fact number 3, that is the rate of petrol, is rupees 44 per liter, or it can also be written as like that. Rupees 44 per liter means 1 liter in for each means this rate is applied for every 1 liter. Okay, the method of writing is very important. Now, according to question, the total amount spent on petrol within the 2 days is equal to rate of petrol, the product of rate of petrol multiplied with amount of petrol purchased on Monday and amount of petrol purchased on Tuesday. By putting the values, we'll find this one. Now, according to the BODMAS rule, first solve the bracket. We'll find like this and cancel the units. This is very important because you will apply the leftover answer with the unit. इसके marks होते हैं. If you won't place the unit correctly, you will lose your marks in the examination. Okay, and final product is obtained is 3960. The second question is here, and this one I left for you. It is very similar, very much similar question, and the same concept is applied for this. Okay, now we are starting exercise 2.3, that is pattern observation. In this, the question number 1 says, which of the following will not represent a zero? It's very simple, just solve them, and if the final product or final answer obtained is 0, then it represents a 0, and if it not, then it will not represent a 0. For example, 1 plus 0, the final answer obtained is 1, so this is not a representation of 0. We all know that 1 plus 0 is 1, it's not 0, so it can't be the representation of 0. Second, 0 multiplied by 0, it's very much sure that very much absolute that the answer of 0 into 0 is 1. Therefore, yes, this is the representation of 0. The third one, 0 upon 2. This is numerator and this is denominator. If the numerator is 0, the whole number becomes 0. Okay, so therefore this is also a representation of 0. The final one, this does not represent 0 because this whole term, this whole fractional number is not equal to 0. Therefore, this is not the representation of 0. Coming to the question number 2. If the product of two whole numbers is 0, can we say that one or both of them will be a 0? Justify through example. Now we'll consider two examples as two cases. Case number 1, we take two numbers, say 0 and 3, and find the product. 0 into 3 is 0. And we take two numbers in which both the numbers are 0. 0 into 0 is 0. So this justify that product of two number will be 0 if both of them or at least any one of them number is multiplied by 0. Means it is not required that both of them should be 0. If any one number is 0, the final product you will obtain will be 0. In the question number 3, if product of two whole numbers is 1, can we say that one or both of them will be equals to 1? Justify your answer through example. Again, we'll take two examples as two cases. That is, case number 1, take two numbers in which at least one of them should be 1. So 1 into another number, it can be any number. We'll take 3 over here. 1, 3 1 ja 3. And now take two numbers, both of them should be 1. 1 1 ja 1. And this clearly justify that from above two cases, that in order to get the product of two numbers as 1, both of them must be 1. If any one number is only 1, you will never obtain 1 as the output. To obtain 1 as output, both of the values used for products, both of them must be 1. Okay. Now, using the distributive property, solve any one of them. See students, the distributive property of multiplication of addition will be, we already have discussed. Okay, we have already studied in the previous classes, and we know that the way of application. There is a tendency in students that the mentality is seen in students that they justify the degree of difficulty of question by counting the number of digits in the question. And if I give you choice that which one to solve, this or this, most of the students will opt for this one कि sir ये वाला solve करवाओ because this is a bigger number. This is 5437 multiplied by 1000. Most of the students in the class will ask me कि sir ये बड़ा है, ये वाला solve करवाओ. But there is nothing like that. Learn the concept, not the question. Okay, the concept is applied to any number of digits, and any question, any order of digits, any number of digits can be asked in examination. There is no such fixed की जो book में करा रखा है, that will be only be asked to you. Okay, so for you all, for the sake of you all, I'll solve this difficult one. First of all, we split up like this, as I told you in the earlier classes, 1000 plus 1. Now this number will be multiplied to both of them one by one, and we can obtain this and this answer, and finally we'll sum up the product so obtained, and the final product will be 54,42,437. Okay, now the last question, question number 5. Study the pattern. Now write the next two steps. So by observing the pattern, we'll find the relationship between the values of the product and the result obtained. And according to that pattern, both possesses the same number of digits. See the pattern. The number of the first input is 1, output digits 1. Input digits 2, output digits 2. First input digits 3, output digits 3. Okay, so this is the pattern. Input, see the number of digits, 3 input, 3 output. Okay, by following this pattern, we find there are 4 things, 4 patterns are following. The number 1, number of digits are same in the first input value of the multiplication and the final output value obtained. This I told you here. Second thing, what I observed, that the pattern of order of digits, that is the input value are in ascending order and the output values are in descending order. See, the input values are given like this, 1 1 2 1 2 3 1 2 3 4 in ascending order, and the output digits are given like this in descending order: 9 9 8 9 8 7 9 8 7 6. Okay. Third, all the digits used for the input values are obtained from, and obtained output values falls within the range of 0 to 9. And the fourth one, the most important, the input values will begin from 1, and then the following pattern is followed: 1 1 2 1 2 3. And similarly, the output values will begin from 9, and then the following pattern will be followed: 9 9 8 9 8 7, and so on. By observing the following pattern, we can predict the further two steps will be 1 2 3 4 5 6 multiply by 8, and this 6 will be placed over here also, and the product obtained will be 98765, and just put one more digit, that is 4, according to pattern. Similarly, 1 2 3 4 5 6 7, put this 7 over here and reverse the order of 9 9 8 7 6 5 4 3. Okay, so that's all for today's class, and we will start with the next chapter in our next class. Okay, thank you and have a nice day.